Can you hear me, Jake?
Oh, there we go. It was because I was muted.
All right. You good? How you been?
I'm alright, man. Just had an alright day trading today.
Yeah, so couple of reduced risk you went into, right?
Yeah. I
Okay, cool.
bit yeah, I'm a bit annoyed because I've reduced risk a bit too early and then it took me out on EU. But it actually it came back, so I just took it. But yeah, that one was a bit annoying. GU as well. That it wasn't as nice as EU. And I'm still currently in
What,
NU.
GU?
Yeah.
That's interesting because I was just looking at it now, and I know Mike said EU was a better play, but I'm gonna have to maybe disagree over there.
Mm, mm. Yeah. I mean, it's quite clearly a big creek on what I was trying to play, but it did actually play out. But I just wasn't home.
You're right. I'll sort this out later.
I'm just doing my journal as well, so no rush, man. 1 to 6.
Sort this out because I'm trying to I want to have so this is obviously going to be in my backtest journal. I'm trying to figure out the 50s and 80s and 80s lining up with the 88.8. And then obviously as I'm putting in my journal, I want that to have a running tally of it. Do you know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
we do with our days and our pro trends or counter trends and stuff. So yeah, essentially I should just copy that. Yeah, I'll figure it out and I'll do that in a sec. So okay, cool. Yeah, let's crack on. So basically what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do the end of week back test. So for those of you who've been plugging in for a while, I'm a firm believer that the market will give you a 10 to 1. We just need to train our eyes, we just need to, manage ourselves on a professional level for us to be able to catch those 10 to 1s on majors, right? So one of the things that I do to train myself to be able to catch 10 to 1s a week is to go back and backtest those. Okay. We're gonna start off with doing the majors. Then we're gonna start off doing the majors. We're gonna look at structured trades first. If there is nothing, or if we've run out of structured trades on the majors, then we'll obviously it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just different level of risk, really. And then again, ideally, I wanna prioritize pro trend trades, but if there is anything counter trend trades, then we'll also look at those as well. And again, I've only got a couple of them that so I want to stay on here then. Okay, cool. So I've only got a couple of them, and in total, so in total I've got about 4. Okay. Yeah, four trades that I want to go through tonight, that when I was looking back at it, they really gave it a good opportunity. It was very easy to find. It was in a good point of interest, and then we're gonna kind of branch out from there. And we're gonna look at what else the market provided. So I'm gonna start off with gold. Now I know Jake obviously dropped the chart as well, but we'll look at that. So okay, let's look at what gold was doing. Now we are bullish ×3 on gold. Okay, higher time frame, intraday, and lower time frame as well. This was a break here. Essentially this is what was holding that leg. This was that reaccumulation that caused that break. Okay, so this is our SC, and whatever is not mitigated here, so maybe this area here is our MC. So clearly we can see price comes and taps into our SC. Okay, so recapping, we're bullish ×3. Price comes back into our demand zone, into our slingshots. What's the first thing that we're gonna need to look for? Let me see if I can pull up the chart. We're gonna look for an accumulation and come into it. come into it, this is what happened. So I think I dropped the chart.
Yeah, I remember.
This was, yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is what I was looking at, right? So we got this, got this, got this. So coming into it, right, this is our lower time frame slingshot. We were getting a type 2. We got 1, 2, 3 drive. Okay, maybe you want to look at this as a type 2 or a type 4. Either way, this was our last push, and we've got a booth here, right? I like the fact that this was London Open. So I identified my London Open price, and then my New York Open price was both within that. And then this is what was holding, and this was also the break of that order flow inside our slingshot. So essentially what I was looking for was and when we saw we can find it here, we can see 1, 2, 3 drive. There's the start of that distro, and essentially this is what I was saying to you as well, Drake. We want those distros inside the bullish one, because this is what helps us get price into our point of interest. So don't be so scared of this distro if you can see a form. Okay,
Yeah, for sure.
understand, for me it's structure first, then it's market cycle, you know, because I guess someone who's not following instruction, say 1, 2, 3, see that break, well, yes, technically this is a valid distro, but you're trying to sell inside a demand zone basically. So structure first, then your market cycle, and then essentially you need to obviously look at, we just came outside an accumulation. What comes after an accumulation? Well, it's a reaccumulation, and what is inside the reaccumulation? Distribution first, going into accumulation, creek, there's your reaccumulation there. So this is what I was looking for, and I kind of like the fact that this was Asian low here, because essentially I was looking for that. Okay, again, I've identified my full volume candle being this candle here, and I was willing to throw a little bit risk simply because there was nothing stopping me. We were inside slingshot, we did break. Yes, we didn't get a type 1, but everything else made sense to throw a little bit of risk. So this is what we saw. And then this was a different full volume candle as well. And then this is how I was seeing it. We jumped across the creek, we could see the sign of strength coming in, and I believe there was divergence as well. Yeah, there you go. So price here made a low, when here we went ahead and we made it high. So so essentially this is what we was looking for. Now where the trade happened, so essentially none of this happened, all right, and we'll look at that. So this is what I was looking for. And again, you can see my alert here that says look for buys. But obviously, as we can see, it never happened. Now, what did happen was, I think you also looked at this as well, Jake, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yep. So this was a good place to look for. Now, the only thing,
Bro,
yeah, what's up?
GK, sorry man. I just joined it. What broker were you taking? Were you taking gold on?
So this would be TPT.
Oh, you trade gold on TPT?
Yeah.
Okay, because I tried it a couple times, and like the price action, like the stop losses and entry levels were so off, and then it's I don't know, I got stopped out a couple times, and then like yeah.
I agree because I might blow your mind if I say this to you right now. I also trade platinum on this with TPT.
Platinum,
and
oh damn,
it's crazy. The spreads are crazy, I'll give you that, but I'm stuck because I would rather take a slightly higher spread currency pair if that means I'm trading pro trend.
true.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you do look at my primary list for this, for what I've been looking for so far, USD Mexican, which I never thought would be on here, is actually on here because I'm looking, obviously I'm I mean, just look, this was my thinking. I know if I say this to Mike, or if I know if I say this to other people, they're gonna be like, oh, it's spread, spread, spread. But look, we're currently trading. High time frame is bullish, intraday is bullish. We're trading inside the intraday extreme. For me to go and make a new intraday, that is, as what Mike would say, that is enough real estate from here to make a lower time frame structure break is, you know, it's an 11% market move. Just to go and make a new higher time frame is about a 30% market move. Do you know what I mean? So this
Yeah.
this is my thinking process of it. There's that. Platinum, same thing.
You don't trade indices?
I do, yeah. I've got
You do?
30
Oh, you got
and
Dow Jones.
26, yeah. So for me, it's the same thing, right? Currently got into some good trades over here, still holding. I tried to get into something here. This really pissed me off, but we'll look at that on Sunday, okay? Because I'm gonna do my end of week. I'm gonna do my journaling on Sunday, and then I'm gonna cover that as well. That's why I kind of left it there. But yeah, but yeah, basically just to summarize, it is high spreads, but I look at that as my cost of business. Do you know what I mean? And if this is a good investment for me to get into, if this is a good partnership, then you know why the hell not?
I agree with you, man. That's an open-minded way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Because I'm used to what Mike is saying, but it works great for him, but doesn't mean that, you know, trading
yeah,
USD Mexican is not going to work for me. It might work out for me really well.
and just like this one as well. I think I showed this to you, right? And we were
Are you
speaking
going to
about
cover
this
this one, bro?
with Jake as well. This was a 19 pips stop loss, right? And again, if I was to say this to to the other guys over there, or I took a 19 pips trade, but for me it just made sense. And this is what allowed me to take that. And this, you know, we were bearish times 3, and look at what we was trading. We was trading inside the lower time frame extreme. And as far as I'm concerned, every single time, every single extreme, sorry, must have a limit. And that's what this was for me. You know, so I went ahead and I threw that. And at the end of the day, I caught an 18 to 1. I'd rather have an 18 to 1 compared to a 0 to 100, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
So yeah, so
What is
I don't
what is
really.
your average risk?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you risk on the trade on average? Like 1/4%, 0.5%?
Yeah, so for me on extremes, I got 0.50, and then on slingshot 0.25, but it's split in a different way, which when I do, if I can get through to a trade management, I'll show you how I split.
Okay, sounds good, bro. Thanks, man.
Okay, cool.
I
Yeah,
tried
so
to get in, didn't I? But I didn't set the limit of the extreme. I just was trying to get in through like, you know,
yeah,
whatever.
there was this, I think on the 18th we was looking at this as well. But yeah, well, I'll talk about
Yeah.
I'll talk about that one Sunday, because yeah. Okay, cool. So 35 minutes. Right, so 35 minutes, this is where we was. Now, what I really liked here was this. It was essentially that low there got taken, okay? And that for me was key, because, you know, Asian low got swept, and obviously Asian high got swept here. And then what we could see was a change of order flow, because essentially this is now what's holding order flow, right? So price did come in, it just didn't come deep inside where we wanted. All right, I was looking at the slingshot of order flow here, and obviously this was my extreme of order flow of this leg. It just, you know, maybe came to the open. Well, it did come to the open, and then we swept low, and then we changed order flow. We could see that, right? So, and I think I made a note here somewhere. Yeah, 119. So I looked at it differently to how you looked at it, Jake. I looked at it like this.
Yeah.
So there was this 119 full volume candle in there, and then if you were to just do that, set yourself an entry there. Obviously your stop loss will be there because this is Asian low, right? The market again, we just for this week I was just targeting the 10 to 1. There's your 10 to 1 there, right? And then the market gave an opportunity of 18 to 1. Now I know you went obviously deeper into it because you were looking at the open, weren't you? So this is how this would be
That's
the
where I
EA.
got in.
Exactly.
I'm
So
feeling sick looking at it now because if I held it today, I'd be up at 1 to 60.
yeah, so
But I got a
this was
124.
I see.
Sorry, Karen.
So this was the first way of how we could have got into it with pretty much no hassle. To wait for the break, measure the full volume candle, 80% is where it was at. Then as what Jake, he did put it in the chat as well. There was a nice micro in here. And I think the key was obviously that low getting taken as well, wasn't it, Jake?
Yeah.
So low getting taken, and then we were trading back into. What does that keep happening? Hold up. So low getting taken, and then we were trading back into previous days New York. For me, what was key about this one was it's in my gray box. So my gray box here represents Thursday. So Thursday, London, and then 80% inside inside lower time frame slingshot that caused an order flow break. Okay, so that was the picture behind it, and that was the trade. I think that was definitely the trade of the week. I would definitely say so.
Yeah.
It was very simple. It was pro trend. You missed that one. Okay, even if you had a limit, but then market gave us a nice re-entry opportunity to get into. And then so in terms of trade managing this, right? Let's look at this. So if you got into, let me do the micro first. If you got into the micro inside here, right? So your entry would be this one here.
Yeah. On so Oanda, I don't even know how I stayed in, mate. I'm not gonna lie. But on my broker, like I literally just had my stop loss literally just below. If you go on a couple of other brokers, it actually took the low.
All right, I see.
On what's the one that Phil uses? Forgot now. Pepperstone. That took the
Oh,
low.
Pepperstone, yeah.
Yeah. Forex didn't.
I see.
Fine. Yeah.
So let me go ahead and delete that one. Okay, cool. Right. So this is where, so there's the break. Okay. There was the break. This was your entry, whether you got off to 50, whether you got off to 80, or whether you got clapped. Let's just say you did get in for trade management purposes. For me, the way I do it is a very mechanical. So wait for this high to go to reduce risk, which at this point is pretty much break even. Wait for this high to pay risk. Okay, because I don't like to go to break even and then I've made $0. I like to go to break even and not pay my risk to it as well. Essentially, upon making that new order flow high of this leg, take some partials, and then once when we came up, take some more partials here. Okay, so partial was one. Break even and reduce risk there, pay risk there, partial one, partial two, and then leave a runner. Well, we got to leave a runner because this is pro trend, right? Now, if you got into the 80% here, how would you have managed that trade? So essentially, this second candle here, so the first hour you would have got in, the second hour, this reaction here when the market closed should have been enough, even though it didn't break that high, it should have been enough for you to go to reduce risk. Upon breaking that high, you can have an alert here where you could have gone to break even. And then essentially what I like to have this. And I know inside the 1 hour, it will be like that, but just to show you guys on here. So yeah, break even here, and then I guess pay your risk there, however much you want, or take partials there just to secure some inside the bag. And I think that was a beautiful trade, man. It was a Thursday, as I said, Thursday. The session was in there. The volume was definitely in there because look at that, right? And it was a pro trend trade inside the demand zone that we like to look for. So I think
Yeah.
really, really, really beautiful trade. Yeah.
The
Any
thing
questions on
is,
that?
like, it was a good trade, but I'm kicking myself because like Thomas tried to tell me not to take profit, like, well, like just to leave a little bit of a runner, and I didn't. So like, yeah, I just literally closed out because I had a bad run, was just losing lots of trades, and then yeah, that
You know
one
what's
came
crazy? You know what sounds crazy to me, Jake? You had a bad run, so you decided to close a winning trade.
in. Yeah, in profit though, because I just sort of felt like, I just need to like at least take something
But do you understand? Like, do you understand? Wait, I don't think you're understanding what you're saying yourself. Like, you
probably
had a
not. Yeah.
losing streak, so you had a couple of losing trades. Then you have that one good trade that's going in your direction, that's got everything behind it, that's perfect. So you decide to be okay. Here's how I'm gonna put it, right? You're a football manager, right? You're a coach. Your team so far is mate is shit, right? Your team are losing. Then you bring on your MVP, your star player. Your star player right now managed to get yourself some goals, right? He's in the zone now. Your star player is in the zone. What you're essentially telling me and how I'm listening to it is you just took him out of the game.
I don't look at it like that, GK, because it's about mindset again. And we're human beings, we're not robots. So when things are going wrong for you 5, 6, 7 times, you're not getting the trades right, you do get nervous on the 7th time, So when you
Right.
put a footballer on the field, you
Right.
hope that you do well, but you're nervous because you've had so many bad players on the pitch. You're putting on your good player that you think is a good player. He suddenly gets on the pitch and then he messes up.
But that's the thing. He hasn't messed up though, has he? And we've seen it.
Well, this is about reacting towards what you see on the chart. And he just took some profit. I mean, like Mike says, you go break even, but you didn't lose. Yes, you could have got more. In what we're doing, trading, that's just how it is. Don't be greedy. You take something, learn from the setup. Did you get into this setup correctly? Let's try and catch some more of those. But I think it's mindset, because I used to do that where I'm losing. And then when I get a really good win, I thought, let me just grab it and run. So it's about staying calm. Jake, and put yourself in break even. You're using your PSC calculator. So yes, one should.
I think we're saying two different things here, right? What Jake has said, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is where we could be going wrong. So you're basically saying to me, Jake, right, is that you've had up on this point, you've had some losing trades, right?
Yeah.
And then you managed to get yourself into this nice, small stop loss, gold trade, right? And even your broker allowed you to stay in here. Cool.
Yeah.
And what has happened was, whilst you were seeing the profit, you decided to close that whole volume trade, the whole orders, right? Because you wanted the dollar amount to basically bring your balance up to recover from your previous losses, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, cool.
That.
Now
it's gonna come back. That's why you closed out, isn't it, Jake? You thought
that is why. But like when I'm seeing, like now I'm seeing it, obviously what's happened, and it is working. Like we've got an accumulation in an area of demand, which ultimately like could keep going, like and just going and going. Like we could stop up here, and I'd be up like I don't even know what that would be. Like where it is right now is a 1 to 62. So if it up to here, it's like a 1 to 200, something like that, roughly. So even if I kept like 10% of my order open, like closed 90%, I would have still, I mean, I wouldn't have been worried about losing that 10% left of the volume if it did come back. And that's just a trade management thing, which is again, like when you're in the zone and you have had a few losses, and you do see that trade, you kind of not thinking long term. You're just thinking like, I'm going to take it now. And it's just, yeah, I think you need to not let your emotions get to you and think
100
logically.
100%. And just to clarify, I think you need to go back and listen to Mark Douglas when he talks about series of trades. You need to understand that this specific trade's got nothing to do with your previous ones, and it will have nothing to do with your future ones, unless you're looking for a re-entry.
Yeah,
Okay.
do you know what?
And
Like that's a good thing you just said there, because like I have been like having that kind of mindset. Like I'll get into a trade and I just think it's going to end up like the last one, and then that will dictate how I play the trade.
exactly, right. And this was going to be my leading question to you at this precise point, right? And even if I was to maybe not give you 2 hours, but just 1 hour inside the trade, because I think you have been in at least 1 hour in the trade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What is telling you right now that this is going to turn around, Jay?
Yeah. Again, it's just
Go lower time frame, GK.
Say that again.
I said go lower time frame. Maybe there's like signs of distribution, and then you look at it, and then you might be thinking it's
Nope.
gonna
15
reverse.
minutes.
No.
Nope.
Oh wow.
5 minutes.
Yeah,
No.
those candles are bullish as heck.
Yeah.
Bullish as heck.
It was
Yeah,
purely hold on, where are we? We're here. It was purely there. I was purely targeting that.
But I did nothing then other than pushing back into this.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Do you know what?
So
I'm kicking
Jake,
myself.
let me list it down for you, right? So so you had a losing streak. Yeah. Second of all, you essentially you had no logical thinking behind this. It was all emotional based, because logic would say, and we've established that we came out in an accumulation, we've got nice volume. This says bullish. Okay, you show this to a 5-year-old, he or she would say up, not down. I can guarantee that. Okay, so you were emotionally behind, right? In terms of your thinking, and you cut your winner. When what it should be, it should always let your winner run.
Yeah.
No matter what, always let it run until he comes back to break even.
Okay.
The reason why you always do that, and I think Nat is already scratching her head thinking, I don't agree, but here's my thinking. You don't know what's going to happen. It could go out into a distribution, but at one point or this point, at that point, you don't know what buyers, who are the buyers that's sitting behind it. Like, do you know who caused this break? Who caused this move? No, we don't know, and we can't know unless you got friends in the banks, in the wealth management industry, right? Because they would know who got in and who's not in. So
yeah.
So you don't know, because we can go into it. We can like maybe not break this high and go into a distribution and come back in for them to add some more orders and then do that.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of waiting for, but obviously we're not getting any.
I think
any weakness.
Big key on this is that we're just bullish ×3, right?
Yeah, exactly that as well.
And like given that the anticipation is that price is more likely to go up.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a good way to overcome this would be just to leave a small runner.
Yeah.
All the time.
Like even if you like, I know Mike says it a lot too. Even if you just leave a small runner, like let's say your PSC splits it into 4 orders, so 25%. Let's say you leave 10% running.
Yeah.
And then I feel like if that 10% keeps going higher and hits a really good R to R, it's gonna teach your brain like, okay, I don't have to close out the whole trade. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that that everything is gonna reverse and just stop me out.
Yeah.
Bro, this is crazy, because I remember creating this exact same thing with you.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And this is how I split my risk as well, Dior, right? So if price is coming into my point of interest, I split it 3 ways. So I have 0.25. Essentially, it is at the end of the day 0.50 into extreme and 0.25 into slingshots, but that gets split into 3 ways. And here's how. So if it's coming in and then I can see a schematic before my full volume candle, 80% or 50%, I don't mind throwing a low 0.10 risk. And then I would still have a 0.25% limit risk here on the 80% of the full volume candle and whatnot, simply because this could turn into a registrar that would help us tap into the accumulation to go higher up, right? So if that's the case, then I'm down 0.10, but I'm in from 0.25. If price claps me out here and claps me out here, I am down 0.35 rather than that 0.50. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm still saving money on my extreme.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're lying in the sand, you know, bearish, whatever. Or looking for the
Exactly. And Jake, to your part, bro, this is it. So you got yourself into that entry here. I'm assuming you went to reduce risk. I'm assuming you went to break even and you paid yourself the risk upon that new booth. So here.
And then New York's got, yeah.
So here, that booth here, this was your first partial, and this should have been your second partial. Yeah.
But instead, that Jack sign strength is all of my
Just here.
take profit. Yeah.
So for me, that would be a 0.15 on that. It would either be a booth, or if it was sitting at 10 to 1, I would take 0.15 off. And then I would leave it, or it depends if there's another booth here that I can take, then I'll take maybe 0.10 out of that as well. Okay. But then essentially, if it's a pro trend just like this is, I would take 0.25 off my lower time frame breakout structure, another 0.25 off my intraday, and I'll use 0.35 for any hedging that I need to do.
Yeah.
And this is how I guess it allows, because now essentially all you're doing is you got yourself in, you wait, your alert will tell you everything. Go to reduce risk, break even and pay risk. Take I don't know, 5% off or 2% off or whatever, and then take something else off. New lower time frame breakout structure, take 0.25. Essentially, this is already done on your PSC anyway. So that's why, and even I've got 5 positions all on 0.25, all on 0.20s, because I would ensure myself that I've at least got something going on. So yeah, that okay, cool. Let me just come out of that then. Any questions on this then before we move on to the next pair?
No, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, very clean, right? Okay, cool. So the second one was this one here. Now, again, this one I personally didn't get in, but it would just help us understand what Mike teaches us. There was an opportunity of micro, but we'll look at that. Okay. So first things first. Now, yeah, okay. So this, we're pretty much playing in between demand and supply here. So this is our leg. So I don't need to go to lower time, high time frame. High time frame, we're bullish as hell, right? Same thing like US 30, we're bullish as hell on high time frame. Intraday, when we do come into intraday, this is our intraday leg. Create that COVID drop. They've added some more orders in there, and this is what's holding our intraday leg. This was that 1, 2, 3 break, 1, the creek, jump across the creek, intraday break of structure. This is that reaccumulation that's holding it. We've come in, we've tapped inside there. Once we've tapped inside there,
that's a slingshot, right?
Yeah. So that's the intraday slingshot. This is our
that's the intraday extreme.
Yeah. So inside the intraday slingshot, I personally couldn't find anything inside there. I don't think. I mean, there is a little something. Yeah. I mean, there is a little something worth back testing, but we're not going to do that now. And then we do get that booth, but now on that booth, we've changed order flow. So we've got a booth, but essentially we've got 1, 2, 3 break. This is what was holding our leg. Came up, we pushed in a new low, came up, mitigated, came down. So at the end of the day, I knew we was bullish, but this is what I was playing out of, or at least I was looking to play out of, because I didn't get into this, right? Cool. I went in there I don't think I had a, yeah, I didn't have a full volume candle, but I just went ahead and I threw my, what's it called, alert at that open there. Okay, came into that open. I was obviously looking at the 50 and 80%, as we can clearly see, it didn't come into it.
What
Coming
did you
back
measure,
down-
bro?
Say that again?
Did you measure like a specific candle or just the move for your?
No,
50
so this
seconds?
was Asian, we can see the Asian is always holding it in here. I think when I went in, I just measured the Frankfurt. Yeah, there you go. So I just measured that
I
Frankfurt.
got you.
So there was
Okay,
the
cool.
open of the Frankfurt, 50%, which is what I was looking at of that shakeout, and there's 80% there. Come into it,
Where did it come into?
it didn't come
The
quite
open.
into the open. Actually, did it?
I think it come off of the test.
So this is the open of the UTAD.
Mhm.
We missed it a little bit.
Damn, but it gave a schematic in there, right?
Yeah, get that.
What
You just
about
have to
that, though?
type one.
Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe you might be right, Jake.
Because like technically, just because it's Asia.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we know, okay, so at the end of the day, we do know this was a distro that was holding order flow. And so this is the extreme of order flow. And somehow it came either to the open of this, or if you're looking at that last push, which for me was Frankfurt, because again, I wouldn't care about that. It might as well not be there, right?
Mhm.
Because I was looking at that Frankfurt open there, that did take out that high. So
Yeah.
there's the open, and again, we was very shy from it. So whether it did or didn't, that's not the move, that's not the play that I was looking at anyway. Because as DL said, the play was inside the distro, and it was in here. So we've got maybe 15 is all right. So we've got our, we got a little distro here, but essentially once we broke, then we just had to wait. So we got 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. There's that break. Okay. And you know, we went and we pushed in. Now, 2 things I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that this, okay, I wanted to have that as Asian, and then see that Frankfurt here to really be
Yeah.
the push that does bring us into that 50% or that 80%. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 drive, wait for that break, and then come back in. So my alert did go off, but I, you know, I didn't need to look at it because it didn't give me a reason to.
Yeah.
Fast
But what,
forward.
like when you look at that,
Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say when you look at this distro and try and think what they were doing, maybe they didn't need to take the Asian highs because like
Yeah,
this kind of looks like bullish order flow, and it's you know buyers are going to be coming in from here potentially,
yeah.
and then they've filled their orders, tested the demand, broke that, and then come back and then just gone.
Yes,
So,
yeah. I mean, yeah. If they've done the business here, they don't need to, you know, add another you know, 100,000s of lot just to waste their money to bring price up here so they can do the same business that they've done here. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah.
There's maybe
So, yeah.
also micro in there. Like, are you looking at it like this? Because that's how I'm looking at the GK. I'm looking at it as 1, 2, 3. I would have looked at possibly this as my 4th drive, but then I would have needed this break. But it
Yeah.
looks like there's a micro in here, so I might have taken that one, get clapped on this one, but then when we get this, you know, still this break is what I need.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Okay.
Do you agree
Maybe,
with it, Cole?
maybe, but then I personally wouldn't, simply because if you look down, that says 7
Mhm.
p.m. my time, which is
Oh,
definitely trading outside of my trading window. So
7 p.m. Oh, that's like around. Okay, that's like 1 p.m. for me. Yeah, I would have not taken it. That's like
yeah,
changeover, I think, right?
so,
Around
no,
changeover.
2 hours
not
before, innit? Yeah.
yeah. So this is where
Okay.
for me New York closes. My trading window is essentially that's where it closes. So yeah, and basically none of this is pretty much non-existent to me. Then we
Yeah,
popped
I wouldn't have
in.
taken it either.
We popped in when I was, you know, brown bread when I was asleep, and then this is what happened. Now there was this area here, right? So, and I think what's the word? Jake,
Yeah.
remember that, was it NJ that we was looking with, and then Mike was talking about it as well. We asked a question
Was
about,
it NJ?
or was it, no, it was NU, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. It was NU.
Yeah, NU,
Yeah,
right? Because we was looking at this and then we saw the redistro.
that's
This
it.
is essentially the same thing, right? Because if you look at it, as what DL said, this is the break that we needed, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can have a million of redistributions in here, but what really matters is this up push and then this down
Right.
push. And then
Yeah.
when they come back, this is what happened. Look, they came back into the open of it.
Yeah.
We've got 1, 2, 3. Well, we got a clear distribution I want to see in there inside New York. But do you get how essentially this don't really matter then? And same thing like NU, this didn't matter because
Didn't matter, did it? It was the
this purpose was to just push price down. The main thing that still needs to be mitigated is this.
yeah.
So had you thrown a limit at this, you would have just measured the UTA, right? Just measure that
Yeah, so no, I don't think there would be a limit.
because it misses it anyway. Yeah.
I don't think there would be a limit because I don't trust this yet.
Okay.
This
I'm
is
saying
early.
like in theory, let's just say this would have been a play you would be interested in playing.
Yeah,
You would
so
have
in
just done
theory,
that, right?
in theory, if we came inside a point of interest, especially in MC, and then we've got a nice distribution like this that actually cause a break, and then
Yeah.
on the coming back, then yeah, something under 80, something under 80, and then we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
So that's that. Then obviously, then the second thing was, yeah, so he came back to the open, and then this is what we saw. So was that, let me bring up 14 minutes is when I looked at this. And then there was the beauty. So you got your 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, 4 drive. Now I'm not sure why, no, it's not. Okay, cool. Yeah, so 1 drive, 2 drive. So there's type 1. There was your ice. There's the break that we needed. Comes back into
Yeah,
that 50 inside New York, and then off it goes.
Jeez, that's clean.
Very, very clean. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is that this freaking happened today. And Thursday was pretty much, nothing. So that's pretty much the only thing I don't like about it. But it is very beautiful trade if I go back to that 14-minute. And if you wanted to throw something off that 50, I think you'll be laughing right now. 50, even if you was to go full, like above the 80% just to cover both, or if you wanted to split it, whichever way you want to do it. But if you, let's just say we did it from that, there's your 6 to 1. To take out Asian is already 10 to above 10 to 1. So that was your second trade that the market gave. That you would have been up 20 to 2, but basically, but essentially gave us a 14 to 1 on this trade. And again, we've got potential.
Sorry, man. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, because that's something that Mike really stopped doing, is looking for the full body candle. I know when I first joined the group, that was something he was doing a lot, and it's something I kind of miss. Like it was you know what I mean? So are you doing that most of the time? Are you trying to find a full body candle?
So okay, so I think it's about following, because like Mike is your mentor, but that also doesn't mean you need to. Let me see if I can word it correctly. So okay, so Mike is your mentor, right? Now for me and how I'm personally thinking about it is I'd rather use him. I'd rather make, okay. So I'd rather pick the best thing that he teaches that I can also aligns with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I first looked at Mike, when Mike was doing his training, when I started to plug in, I really liked the idea of the full volume candle, because that's what he was all about back in the days. That was one of the things that really intrigued me. Number one. Number two, upon finding that full volume candle, all he had to do was throw a limit in, and then boom, that was it. Yeah,
it was much simpler in a way.
Exactly, much simpler. So that for me, I like that. Okay. So that really stuck with me. Now, just like how you've noticed as well, nowadays he's a bit more in front of on the seconds, on the 1 minute, 2 minutes and stuff, trying to find better R&R. That's cool. I'm happy for him. But for me, that hasn't worked yet. Do you get what I'm saying? What
Man,
has
that's
worked
exactly what I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks, man. Maybe not even, maybe if not months.
yeah.
Because like I'm not able to do it. You know what I mean? I understand everything. I understand what he's trying to do,
Right.
structure, point of interest,
Right.
schematics. It's all easy, but like executing it, it's
Right.
really hard for me, and I'm not getting consistency.
And
Yeah.
and it makes sense for him not to work to work on you right now, simply because in simple words, bro, you're not Mike. And
Exactly.
what that means is you haven't got the experience that he's got on you. You know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing just yet, because it just basically means you just got some more work to do. You know, you're trying to compare your page 2 to his second book, basically. You know what I mean? So
100%. Yeah, he wasn't even doing that a year ago, man. If we think
exactly.
about it.
So
Yeah, but
take-
dear, what you said to me earlier, you said Mike didn't start off trading like he does now.
Yeah,
And
and think about
that's
we're trying
true,
to do that.
Yeah. And
Like,
like, you know, and do you know what? Like I've been also I've got some access to some other sort of supply and demand stuff, like some old school stuff back in the day. And like some of them guys are, like I say, just trading the 1 hour and 4 hour just areas, just marking up areas and then just setting limits off of them. And that works for them. And you know, I don't know if you're in Sam Aporia's group, but Sam does the same thing. Like he sometimes has huge stop losses that we would just think, nah, you know. But if you're willing to like drop your ego a bit and just follow the higher time frame, and catch just like, you don't need to catch like massive moves, but that's what we're trying to do. Like we're trying to like catch these massive moves without even like sometimes like, because Mike used to catch like 1 to 5s, 1 to 4s. Like I don't know if you remember him saying that the other day,
yeah.
like years, like a couple of years ago, he wasn't catching these big moves. So I think like we have to go through it as well.
yeah, for sure.
The micro side of things is so hard. I totally agree with you. It's really hard to find entries. It doesn't work a lot of the time. You know, you're taking reduced risk after reduced risk, break even or whatever. And then finally, you know, that can really mess with your mindset as well. And then, like you say, when I do get into like a winning trade, I have like the fear of then getting another loss. Yeah, I just think we just need to keep going with it. And
Here's something that I think will blow your mind your mind out. So if you guys remember, what's his name? John Miller, right? From maybe about when I first done my call.
Yeah.
He called, and this is crazy. And then I will I don't care if you say it's 1,000 to 1 or no, I will never do this.
Bro,
Like,
sorry, man. Can you adjust your mic? I can barely hear you, man. I don't know. Sorry, man.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's much better. Thanks.
Cool. So he called, and I was back to him. He sent me his chart, right? He called a 65 to 1 with a 1.6, I think, pip stop loss on EU in this area here. Before I get in, can anybody see that?
yeah.
In this area, he called a sell or a buy?
A buy in this area here.
Just out of this, right? Out of that. Probably.
One of the reaccumulations, I'm guessing, or one of or that.
Deal's closed. Deal's closed.
Well, I'm guessing. Let me see.
Oh, right. It's probably that, isn't it? Break, come back. And then
No,
gone.
it's this one
No.
here. No, so it's this area here, and here's how. So I get well. Let's I know I'm know I'm not. I can't do it. It was just good to, I guess, practice. So we obviously know Asian low, Asian high. Inside this leg now, what do we have? We have this as our MC. We have this as our slingshot. What does price do? Comes back and accumulates inside that slingshot. 2 minutes. So there's the low. Frankfurt took it out. This is the high that we need, that got taken out. This was the slingshot. Yeah.
Mhm.
That caused the break. This is the extreme that's holding the order flow, but not really. It's order flow of order flow of order flow because we're in the freaking 1 minute. And at the same time, we're counter trending. So that's second thing. But here's your 65 to 1. So he got in. Yeah, there you go. So low, new low. This is what needed to break. He was first looking at this being the slingshot of order flow, and this being the extreme. Got lost here, okay, and then essentially this was the extreme. Came back into it. So boom, so boom. There's your 80%. We've got in here 1.7, 1.6. And then when he sent it to me, it was he was saying at 65 to 1, which was around here. Yeah, 65 to 1 here. Somewhere there. But there was just 65 to 1 that the market gave. But ask yourself now, is this something that you would take?
No,
Yeah, I would take that
Would you?
if I saw it. Yeah,
I
'cause
wouldn't.
like,
I wouldn't take it into the area. Not. I would wait for it to retrace lower.
I mean, I would potentially take it up to there if I was saying it, but not like, I mean, maybe he
this
did
was
leave it like that.
Thursday, wasn't it? Because I
This
took the
was,
same thing on ACAD, and that was I posted that in the chart,
okay, I see.
but it,
But
it didn't make that high. It just came back first and then went.
yeah, I mean, for me, again, I can only speak for me, but this definitely not. I mean, not right now anyway. Not where I am in my trading journey. I don't think I would be taking something like this. Essentially, I don't think it would help me along my journey. Okay, because there are some things that you guys need to understand. Do you guys looking to win short term or you guys looking to win long term? Because things like this, I don't think it would personally help me long term wise. I need to go through some more structured trades for me to be able to to sustain, to build myself in a sustainable way, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
if this is going to create, maybe get my challenge up, maybe get my account up, but is it building me as a trader that I want in a professional way? And the answer for me personally is no. It might be for you and in your trading personality, but for me, no. So when I looked at this, I'm happy for him. It's good, it's crazy, but no, not for me. I
But
rather
like
stick to,
the only thing I would argue with that is like, what's the difference between this price action here on this time frame and then the time frame on the 4 hour? If you can, because it's completely fractal, right? It's the same thing over and over until you
yeah,
get to the seconds and you can't go any further.
yeah,
As long as you follow, so I mean, that was kind of, I guess, some of my thought process in the gold trade I had, was that I was trading that time frame. So my targets weren't the higher time frame when that's something I should incorporate. But it was the same thing with that ACAD trade I took. It was I saw the Frankfurt sweep in Asia and I tried to catch the accumulation. It missed me on the 50 and then I expected a reaccumulation and then I got it. And then it went like it went a 1 to 10, I think. I took some partial
yeah.
and then went and made the new high. So, and that should be no different than on the 1 hour. It's just obviously the higher time frame
Here's my question
is like,
is, would you be able to leave this as a runner?
no, because I mean, looking at it on this time frame, no, because like, we're bearish, but
Yeah.
knowing the market cycle and knowing like basically what you were telling me about like not being afraid of price running too far, because eventually, say if we get an accumulation, it reaccumulates, and then you feel like it's never coming back. Eventually, it is going to come back and make a distribution, redistribution, and then come back to your accumulation.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, if you can know that on every time frame and know exactly where you are on every time frame, then you kind of, that is like, I mean, you just need to master what your time frame is, because your time frame might be like, you might be better on the higher time frames. That
100%. And
Yeah.
it also comes down to how you're looking at your structure as well, which is why when Mike, if you remember back in the days, Mike would say, "Oh, I misread the structure," and the reason why he would misread the structure is because he might not be on a good time frame for himself, if this is lower time frame right now, or he might actually looked at order flow as lower time frame, and then lower time frame as intraday, and then intraday as higher time frame, and then obviously that just changed the whole picture, isn't it? Because then intraday you could be bearish,
Yeah.
lower time frame you could be bullish, and then higher time frame, which is intraday, you could be bearish. So what would you do here? Do you buy?
Yeah.
So it comes down to finding yourself. Once you found yourself, and once you're comfortable, like after you found yourself, then just trade that. So yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was that bit off chart. Now, yeah, you were talking about that retracement phase, isn't it? So this was it here. So we had a bunch of really nice run over here, and I was pretty much on the sideline watching Mike trying to catch all of these inside reaccumulations here, because I'll rather wait for this to happen. That's how I personally trade. How you're gonna ask me how long that takes? I don't know, and I can't tell you. I think in my journal, one of the longest days I've waited for a trade setup, because I journal days as well, I cut days, is 130 days I've waited for price to come inside of my fund of interest for me to get into an entry. And then I waited, I think my longest is about 90 days in duration. So that's well over a couple of months. But yeah, cool. So there was a trade inside here that we could have taken. Now this is still pro trend because we're buying inside bullish market. However, we're buying in pretty much no man's land, because for me, I would be looking at this area, and clearly we traded below it. Having said that, inside here there was a nice type 1. Okay, so we've got our 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, and then Asian low as well as our spring is here. And yeah, there you go, 27 minutes is there. And then this was we had a different way of doing it. So if you wanted to look at the full volume candle, there's your 27. If you wanted to look at this as the whole move from high below, there was 80%. And for me, I like to use the 80% as well as the retracement. And for me, it's 88.8. And we can see X marks the spot. So if you're looking at the 50%, there it is of that full volume candle. If you're looking from the whole move, there's the 80%. If you're looking at Fibonacci of that move, there's the 88.8. So
what's the stop loss on that, bro?
yeah, so around this is the area on that, and the stop loss would be, so if you took it up to 50, just in the middle there. So there, 6 point, so just make it 7. There's your 7. This is 61, 6.5 to make a new high. The market gave you close to 9 RNR. Your 10 to 1 would be somewhere here. Okay. As I said, this is pro trend, so maybe we could get it, especially the fact that DXY is trading inside the 80%, and then we're looking to be more bullish. So yeah, there's that. The only thing is obviously this happened just one hour before New York open, which is not a bad trading time, but obviously yeah. So but yeah, that was just between type 1, Asian lows, Asian highs, type 1, spring, different multiple ways of getting in. And the other, like this for me is the way, you know. I don't need the moment I get that, the moment I get this and my alert that says, you know, look for the full volume candle and set limit. This is all I need, you know, and then I can set my limit here, and then that's it. I'm done.
You wouldn't even look for a micro in there, right?
Not necessarily. No, I don't need to. For me, I feel like, you know, 7 pip is a good of a stop loss. There's your 10 to 1, 70 pip. You know, just to make a new patch. So
How would you have handled this in terms of partialing out
okay, yeah, let's
and
look into
reducing risk?
Yeah. Okay. And actually, at the same time, let's see if there was a micro presented. Let's just say I've got in from that 50% that I've set a limit, you know, when we got that break there. I'll need this high to get broken. I'll go to reduce risk. When we make a new low, when we make a new high to go to break even, right? Break even and pay risk. So let's just say I'll risk maybe $20 or something in here. Because again, we are trading out of no man's land, so this will be very low risk. 20, $25, $50, whichever one you feel comfortable. Pay yourself that risk, and then wait for like the new order flow break to take some more profit. That will be the plan going into it. So reduce risk. There's that low, and there's the new high. So reduce risk here, break even here. The reduce risk will just bring me up to here, break even into that, and then when we go and making that new high there, here I would pay risk as well. So I would have banked, let's just say, you know, $50. I would have banked that, and then now take some profit when we go and make a new high here. Now
you wouldn't have looked to stack.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. So coming into it, we can't really find the can't really see a accumulation. Okay, so if I was waiting for the micro, I don't think I would have got in. Do you guys see something different?
No, I see the same thing. I was just gonna ask you because sometimes that's where I'm not really sure what to do. If price leaves without us, and then price leaves without us, and then what we get is we get that reaccumulation. When do you decide when do you decide to play that reaccumulation as opposed to waiting for price to come lower? Like what are some of the confirmations you use?
First few for me always work, and then the more you go, the more continuation plays you get, the less likely I found.
Yeah.
So like the first few, you know, first, you know, maybe if you get and then keep going, and then I'd say 2, 3. If you can get 3, then great. But like, you know.
Well, essentially there is 4, because if you so and it all depends on two things: how you are the trader and whether you've got the time for it. Because you know you can do all the wishing in your life that you want, but if you ain't got the time to be in front of the screen, then you're not getting the results, right? And what I mean by that is you got 1, 2, 3. If you can see this is our 4th drive and you can catch that micro, then your first entry, right?
Correct.
But for most people who ain't got the time or maybe even the skill, we would essentially need that first break. So this essentially would be our first original entry. So whether you got in or not, this could be your first or your second entry. But this is your better one, if that makes sense, because then we know for sure your spring is formed. Because what's to say that we do get a micro accumulation, but then some more sellers come in and then we do that, you know?
Yeah.
So you pretty much took a loss for no reason, or reduced risk for no reason. But wait for the break, no trade. So wait for the break, this will be our first entry. Now upon that first entry, what you get is you get a couple of things, don't you? Because now this is your new leg when we make that break. The new leg is going to be distro, accumulation, reaccumulation, and distro. So you look at your slingshot first, you look at your extreme, and you wait for the same thing. Now, if you can find the full volume candle go ahead and set a limit here because that would be your test entry. And wait, put an alert and wait for your accumulation.
Yeah.
Okay. So your first, well, let's not even count that. So it's your first entry. First, I'm not going to say entry. Your first chance, your second chance, your third chance, and this is where it stops for me now.
Oh,
Right?
that's where it stops for you?
That's where it stops on the lower time frame, like on anything under 15 minutes. Where it's going to come back in is when it makes a boot, because now I need this accumulation to do something.
Yeah.
And then I will need it to make a boot, because now on the next leg, it looks like an accumulation, reaccumulation that breaks the boot, and then going into a distro for price to come back. So then I'll look at this as my slingshot, and then this as my MC. That accumulation, that anything that did not get mitigated. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's after the boot. Let's just say I missed that. Right? You missed the schematic inside the schematic, you missed it after the boot. What's your next play? What comes after order flow? Your leg. Right?
Yeah. You're saying wait for the leg to take in and then measure that whole leg. Wait at
right?
50s and 80s, or yeah.
Same thing, your slingshot, your wait for it to come back, accumulation. Now for me, I've seen 9 out of 10, your slingshot gets clapped, so that's even more perfect. Just wait for that, and then you have all reasons for you to go ahead, set yourself a limit, and then off we go.
So what you're not doing is let's say you missed it. Let's say you missed this entry,
Yeah.
and you get that price comes back. Let's say you're waiting for a schematic in a slingshot. You have a limit off the test.
Yep.
Price just taps the slingshot and goes. You're not playing this, right?
I'm not playing none of that yet. The reason why
Okay.
I'm not playing none of that yet is because this goes, right? Accumulation, we can get a distribution in here that never breaks the order flow, right? And then because I'm so focused on trying to get an entry here,
Yeah.
I forget the fact that this could be a big fat redistro.
Because it hasn't done anything at this point.
Exactly, it hasn't done anything at the moment. It hasn't given me that boost.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
accumulation can easily turn into redistros, and that's why I only take the first, second, and then I wait for the booth. If I do get anything, perfect. If I don't get anything, then I'm waiting for the leg.
Yeah, that makes sense, man, because that throws me off, man. And I just try to catch one reaccumulation and catch the next reaccumulation, and then it just the whole thing just collapses, maybe.
This is the same thing that I think, Jake, again, if you don't mind me sharing, he was having some sort of feeling with this going on right here. This whole move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, look, we did get into accumulation. 1, 2, 3, distro, reaccumulation, reaccumulate. Look, perfect here, reaccumulation. 1, 2, 3, reaccumulation. But understand, for me, those don't have a true purpose. What's got a true purpose is what's holding the structure. This is that got, and this here, because that actually caused that break. For me, these are just part of the wave, if that makes sense. And the wave's gotta be broken for it to come back.
But obviously, like if you think like where that is in even the higher time frame, like because where is that whole move? Is that playing into structure, GK? Like even on the weekly or something?
You mean the high of this?
Yeah. Where is that? Is it?
Let's see.
See,
So
like,
that
yeah.
Yeah. So we are playing into this distro here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
playing inside this leg.
So then as you're getting up, like, and you're continuing playing them continuation plays just on the, on that whole leg, like now it's just not logical because we're tapped into supply. And yes, we might be bullish on the lower time frame and that, but if the higher time frame is bearish and we've just tapped into a higher time frame bearish supply, then we can expect the distro now potentially, and then we'll just play the lower time frame. If the lower time frame breaks, we'll then be bearish higher time frame, lower time frame. So then we're bearish again, aren't we? Until intraday, which Mike said that he wouldn't play off of an intraday, would he, if he was bearish? But
I don't know, but for me,
I don't agree with it.
for me, I think actually, let me revisit my plan, because I know I've said, I think, remember when we was talking about it previously, Jake, I said I
You said
always
always put a limit, didn't you?
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
always put a limit on intraday. Yeah, so this is it. This is what I did a little bit further. So always put a limit on it on intraday. 0.25 if I'm pro trend, and 0.10 if it's only if it's pro trend. Essentially 0.10% if it's counter trend basically, and 0.25 if it's pro trend. Yeah. So if what you're saying to me is we don't take this high, we just basically come here, break lower time frame, but come into intraday, I would have something 0.10% sitting here. Just in case we do turn around and go. And then at that case, lower time frame is, because then lower time frame is essentially order flow when it comes to the big box, which is intraday and high time frame. The lower time frame breaks. Because lower time frame is order flow for intraday and high time frame. Yeah, I mean it's some confusing stuff, but it is what it is. Okay, cool. So that was the only thing that I saw on that USDCHF. Any questions on that before we move on to the last one? No,
Nope.
clean, right? So everything made sense. Good session behind it, good volume as well. And again, it was pro trend, just a little bit riskier trade basically. But cool. Now similar to DAX, similar to German 30, there was this stupid trade here as well. Okay. So same thing. Right, we're bullish as hell. Well, not yet, but I guess we will be after when we make this. But looking at it, if you was to zoom out, right, we are bullish. Okay. Now there was a nice structured trade that I didn't get in, so I'm a bit sour about that. Right. You could have set a limit here, and then this would be your structure stop loss, and then you'll be laughing right now. Oh, if you waited for that break, price did come back deep enough to set get yourself the re-entry, and then put your stop loss here. Okay, so entry 1, entry 2. Again, just limit. No need to be on anywhere. Then same thing. This was the redistro. You can see the eyes break new low. Price comes back into supply zone and then pushing a new low. From there, this is now our leg. This to this. And again, same thing, just like DAX. We come inside it, and again, look, bullish wave. Okay, I about that. So I think, when did it go off? You get. Okay. But same thing. Once again is this the Asian. I think this one is slightly potentially could have got in rather than waiting for that low like we did with that. Yeah. And the low that we would need is this one here. Okay. So there's that low, and price does come back in, and I think it comes into 50%. Also 50%. Yeah. So there's your 50%. So it all depends whether you're an Asian trader or whether you're not. But there's your 50% as well. Same like German 30. There's your stop. Okay, just to make this new low here, to take out this reaccumulation, that's your 16 to 1. And then for price to come back into here, okay, that was your 28 to 1. So yeah, again, very similar to that, but very clean as well. Clean type 1 distribution. We got the break that we needed. Put yourself some risk.
So the only thing, when I was looking at this was, okay, cool, we're coming up. The fact that we came up 50% to this area was giving me the vibe that we could go. Yeah.
What is that?
Cool. That was I think, to me what the market provided. But even this one didn't come back to the open. Yeah, I missed it a little bit, but distributed where we basically needed it to. Now for me, the fact that we also didn't, manage to take that and pushing the new lows, quite alarming. I want to see what we do when we come into here, or whether we come into here. Essentially, I've got the line in the sun for me is here, right, and then here. Okay, so if we do that, then I'll just have to wait for pullback. If we go and make a new high, then I'll just have to wait for the buy to come up basically. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions on that?
Nope. Yeah, man.
Cool. That was pretty much it. That was all the four that I had, and then any other other EU that we saw, platinum that we saw as well. Anything that you guys saw this week that was worth having a look at, again, structure wise or maybe order flow wise as well.
Can you just go on ACAD quickly? Because I just want to show you. I haven't even spoke to anyone really about it yet.
Is it today or?
It's yesterday, so it's Thursday. Yeah, here we go. Right, zoom. So obviously, just zoom out and then just get the bearings where we are, just on that time frame. So just zoom right out. So obviously, yeah, Mike has said that he doesn't agree that this is even going to do anything because NCAD is broke, and I agree with him. But NCAD is like almost in some sort of structure. But it broke something like here, and anyway, like, so I'm just looking for buys. I don't really care whether we're bearish, higher time frame and intraday or lower time frame. I'm just looking to take it like up to some sort of supply zone and expecting the redistro. So off of that, you can see if you come in to like 30-minute or whatever, zoom out, you can just see that, just zoom out a bit more, GK. So we saw that we had, because Chris caught some mad trade out of here, because I was just going to set a limit off of the structure, and that's how far it missed me by, but it didn't miss me by much.
Okay.
And then it missed my limit, so yeah, did set the limit, and then I was going to take something out of this, but then I saw Asia and Chris got it, and it was a mad trade. I think it went like a 1 to 60. But anyway, we've come back down, forming some kind of like thing here. We've come like into this, and then all I did is I just opened up the chart Thursday morning, and then saw where we were with Asia, and saw where we were with Asia. If you might as well just zoom in now, GK, because we know where we are.
You know what this is, though, isn't it?
What's that? Bullish SC.
The order flow.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah.
It's just in that new high.
I anticipate it to get taken at some point, but like I was simply my actual, like, so I think we're in a logical location anyway.
Yep.
This Asian sweep, I saw Frankfurt sweep in the morning.
Yep.
And I woke up for London, and I was like, yeah, cool, I like the look at that. And then I saw a type 1.
Yep.
That happened. That was on the 1 minute. We go on to the 1 minute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw these 3 drives after the sweep. 1, 2, 3. Spring. I had instantly set the 50, and then she misses me. Right, I'm pretty pissed off at that point.
Yeah.
And then so I leave it, and where did I get in? You might have to keep going further.
Did you wait for that break?
Yeah, I waited for the break, and then
Maybe something there.
I think it was that.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
hold on, just carry on playing. I can't
So
exactly remember.
this is what we do. Right? If I was looking at them, right? Let's just say now we've got this group over here. Right? So I'll do something like let's say maybe I want to give my 1, 2, 3.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry, man, I can't hear him. And do you guys hear the background noise, or is it just me?
I can't hear any background noise, bro.
Welcome, maybe.
Sorry, man, maybe it's my headphones. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't look for any candle, not gonna lie.
I mean, at that time, bro, what's your weekend? I don't think you would have to talk to you anyway. And there was
I don't know. I'm gonna send you the chart because I've got it journaled.
let's just say it's on the weekend.
Okay, I've sent it.
Because that's what it would be. Something like that. And I want to do the whole thing with this.
Yeah,
Because
because it came into that. I think.
and then, okay, we've already got a booth, so I'm assuming the retracement has started. So we can do that. And then,
I'm not in yet, just to let you know.
okay, cool. But I would personally do this. I would personally look at something like this, being my extreme, and then I want to maybe put something like that into that 50, being my slingshot, and then that there. Something like that. So that's say what, 4 pips, this is a 5 pip on a Thursday.
He's taking it high, right?
Yeah,
The key is taking this one, right?
yeah, because well,
Which is like our lowest form of order flow. So
it was taking the first one was taking this high, but because price didn't come back enough, and then we went up and then broke the next high. This being the redistro, and this also being the accumulation, so we're looking for this to that distribution to turn into a reaccumulation to turn around basically.
okay.
So yeah, that was what that was. I don't want to go too fast this year. And by the way, for me, once we break that, that's it. None. I won't be looking at any of that position I looked at here. And I think we did. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So
Yeah, that was my entry.
So, yeah, this your entry.
Yeah, I took the 80 of that. I took that because I know it was risky, but I just took it because I saw it.
So, okay. So you also have the same thing on your looking at below, right?
Mhm.
And then you. So
Went back bullish again. Obviously, I didn't get tapped in there,
okay.
so I thought I just left it in, and then once we done that, we came back quickly, and then I was up I don't know what it was. I think it's quite good, but I hadn't taken anything. I don't think. I thought I had taken partials, but I just checked and I didn't.
I mean, I would personally have stayed out of it. The reason why is because I still needed a shakeout. You know, for me,
Yeah,
I thought this was lining up pretty nicely for us to just give us that maybe that, you know, and then
yeah,
that would be obviously worked out better. But so you obviously went ahead and then you looked at this being the accumulation, this being the
yeah.
break, and then got in from here.
It's kind of like well, playing it as the reaccumulation because this is the accumulation. So I was just seeing this as like some sort of creek, and then this was the demand that
Yeah.
was like wasn't breaking, and then I just saw this as like the test, and then tiny little break there, and that was it. Then as soon as we broke, measured the 50.
We have traded 50% of that whole move, you know. So we came
Yeah,
back 50%.
that's what I mean. So like
accumulated
that
50%.
was my line in the sand for that, and then obviously I still had the limit on because, and then we just didn't come back, and that's what I mean. Like I'm happy to throw 0.10 on that, and 0.10 on that, just because we're in a structure area. Yes, we're bearish,
Yeah.
but it's usually going to give enough reaction for me to get something out of it. Obviously, it would have been ideal if we were bullish, because then that could have been one of them moments where, yeah, I could have let the trade run to the next structure. And that trade alone will be way better risk to reward than your structure limit trade will be off of like a 1 hour candle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know.
Here's where here is where it gets interesting now, because my plan, we broke that, this being my slingshot now, and then you see that 80% that we was looking at there
Yeah,
is obviously leg of that structure. So if price, does whatever it needs to do and then come back down, first area we look at there, and then second area we look at is that area inside here that still needs to be mitigated. That
yeah.
1 minute candle.
I mean, you can see what it did. Like now, if you zoom back in again on the 1 minute, you can see exactly how it messed me over. So obviously my entry was
there and came back.
there, and then yeah, no, so my entry was there, wasn't it? And then it made the high, so I'm at reduced risk, obviously, and then it comes down into the actual 50%, like even deeper into the move of that, then goes. But like, at this point, am I going to look for an accumulation here? Like, there's probably something there. Like, it's just, I'm not going to be. That's just too much. Like that,
Yeah, I see what you mean. But I mean, overall, it was cool. It was good. It is what it is,
Yeah.
So that's it. Just wait for the next cycle down now, man. Because as I said, so it did what it did on the lower time frame, right?
Yeah.
Now we just have to wait for that to get taken, and what was it? Yeah. So we just have to wait. We wait for that to get taken. So he can either give me two play. He can either come back down here like this, okay, and then I can, we can look to take something here. Oh, essentially, look, we're still being maintained by this leg. So once this leg is done, like that. So let me clear that out. So once this leg gets taken, what's the lowest? I'm assuming, yeah, this is the low, right? So once this leg gets taken, like that, this for me is still going to be my extreme, because look, this is the Asian low, so I can't really trust that, right? This was the Asian low. This was that Frankfurt there that has, let's just say, if price just goes up from now, this is still what needs to be mitigated, isn't it?
Yeah.
So can look to come back
correct.
here and then go there. So yeah, I don't think there's a such thing as a miss entry. You just need to wait longer. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So,
I've got the limits there still, so.
but I hope your risk changes as well, right?
Yeah, that's it. That is a low risk. It's a 0.1 risk.
Yeah, I know, but like, for example, when we was talking with this structure here, right? So let's just say this accumulation here, right now, this is on a different risk. So this is on 0.15, but the moment this accumulation goes up and break, this whole thing, whatever is not mitigated, I'm going to change the credential and I'm going to put it 0.25 as a limit.
Right, okay.
You understand the reason why?
Well, off of where? Like off of my candle or the one? Because obviously mine's a reaccumulation, the one that I played.
Yeah, but your reaccumulation is going accumulation inside it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and for me, this is what's holding it, right? But I can't really trust that, given that this is Asia.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I
if price were to trade below this is not going to stop it.
No.
So for me, this is my last, like, this is my line in the sand, basically, because we can see price came back and mitigated 50% of here, and this
Yeah.
mitigated that. So here's evenly mitigated. So what's not mitigated is this, isn't it? That inside entry that we were looking at.
Yeah.
So now let's just say
Yeah. No, I agree.
so obviously let's just say you was right at this precise moment you was looking at a 0.10% risk, right? But
Mhm.
let's just say this was, I know this is order flow, but let's just say this was lower time frame, and we went ahead and we broke lower time frame like that. This credential now, I'm gonna allow myself to get into a 0.25% risk. So it's gone up by 0.15.
Yeah.
simply
Yeah. I
because we
know.
made a new leg. Yeah.
But the only problem is obviously we could break that and still, technically speaking.
Technically, yeah. But then so then what you can do is split it.
Mhm.
Split it. So put half on that of that 0.25 and then half on that 80% there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
just your
Okay.
stop loss. So there's so many ways to, as what Mike said, there's so many ways to skin a cat. So
Yeah.
but yeah, just basically summarize on that. Gold 0.10% there, really nice. Sorry, 10% gain there. DAX, we missed it. Didn't give us all the confirmation that we needed, but good point of interest, good price action inside the point of interest that we like to look for. It was just outside our trading day and then outside of sessions, but good reaction as well. USDCHF, a little bit of counter trend slash higher risk pro trend trade because we were trading outside of no man's land. But type 1 accumulation and would have given you close to a 10-1, not there yet. UK100, so inside same thing like DAX, inside the same point of interest, inside this zone, supply zone. Good price action inside the point of interest that we like to look for, and then good reaction from it as well. If we did get into that, that's a 28-1. The 10-1 was somewhere there. Yep. So yeah, quick one. So that was what the market provided this week. And let's see what will provide next week.
Yep, cool. Nice
Uh,
one.
no worries, man. I'll
Thanks,
catch you guys
guys.
in a bit. No worries.
Yeah.
Thank you, GK.
Bless.
Thanks, man.